Good morning, welcome to the shed. So exciting times, the day is finally here. We're going to be starting my new bench project. Obviously it's going to be a series of videos, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe 7. And this will be me showing you how I make my bench, not me showing you how to make a bench. I looked at 3 designs when I was doing my research to find out which one I was going to build. Obviously cost was quite important. There's some really lovely fancy ones out there, but they all use, you know, $2 slabs of maple that I just don't have access to, either the money or the wood. So I looked at 3 designs. I looked at Paul Sellers. He does 2 benches. The traditional wood pine bench, which is made from sort of builder's pine, which is perfectly adequate, really good, but I think it might be a little bit tricky for me for my first project. He also does a plywood version of the same one, which is the one I've chosen. That just uses strips of high quality birch plywood laminated together to make the bench top, and then all of the rest of the joinery is done using birch plywood, and the mortises are done by leaving voids in the lamination. So you don't actually have to cut any joints, you just sort of build the joints. So that's the one I've gone for. The third one that I looked at was the Rob Cosman one, which is good, but it uses MDF, and that put me off a bit, even though it looks like it'll do the job. I decided that the sort of happy medium was the plywood version of the Paul Sellers workbench. I'll leave links down below to all 3 benches, because as I say, they're the experts. Use their guides rather than mine. This is my experience, not me showing you how to do it. So I'm used to cutting plywood. I've got a table saw, which is quite good for that. I've got to be a bit careful. It's quite important to cut this accurately, so it's very important that I take my time. I do tend to rush things and then end up cocking it up. So I've got to force myself to take my time, make sure my cuts are good. So I've ordered the wood. That's coming in a few days' time. I've ordered a few other bits, screws and glue and stuff like that. So yeah. In a few minutes I will run a VT of me preparing the wood once it arrives, and then I'll show you the prepared wood afterwards. But before I do that, I just want to show you my new vise. My original plan was to buy a second-hand Black & Decker workmate and use that as a bench to make a bench, as it were, because I didn't have a decent vise. I've been using this record #1 wood metalworking vise, which is completely useless. It was also mounted on a table that was on casters, so if you've seen any of my videos with me attempting to do any plane testing, you'll see that it was going all over the shop and I was struggling. So I was browsing Gumtree the other night, as you do, while EastEnders was on, and I came across a record 5.5 vise for 70 quid in the local area, so I went out and bought it. 70 quid's about the right price. I've seen them sort of 50 to 120 on eBay, so I figured I was quite happy with that. I'll bring you over to the bench and show you. So as I say, this is a record 5.5. It's the quick release one, which is useful. It's the one I've been looking for, basically. Really good. Taking the casters off the table, did I mention that? So that's now reasonably steady, and I've just bolted this to the surface of the table. I don't care about having holes in my table, because this is probably going to go anyway. So yeah, I've now got a decent vise, and honestly, just you know, can't really show you because I haven't got a plane handy, but you know, it's already 1,000 times better, but it can be even better than that because it's still moving. But yeah, so really happy with that purchase. Before I fit it to my new bench, I will do a refurb video as well, so that'll be part of the series, probably part 7 or something like that. So obviously that makes me very happy that I've got a decent vise sorted out, because I thought I was going to end up, I've been looking for one for a while, I thought I was going to have to buy a new one, which would be 200 quid. Didn't want to do that. So yeah, and that also solves the problem of not needing a vise for the build, so I don't need to buy a Black & Decker workmate. So all in all, happy all round. Okay, here's that clip I promised you of me preparing the wood with my glamorous helper. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. That took me about just over 2 hours to do the whole processing of all of the wood. The only thing I haven't done is the well board, because I need to cut that to the actual size of the bench once it's made, and the aprons as well, because I thought I might just leave myself a bit of leeway. If I do run out of wood, I can always just shorten the apron slightly and steal a bit of that. I've got a bit spare, which is good. That all went really well. Thanks very much to my glamorous assistant, Seb, for helping me out with that. Yeah, couldn't have done it without him, really. One thing, if you are going to do this bench, if you've got a table saw, obviously make sure you adjust for the curve of the blade, which I think in the Paul's build, he obviously uses a bandsaw, so it's a lot thinner. So take that into consideration. I did, and just about got away with it. I didn't really work it out to the highest degree of accuracy, but I got away with it. And I've got some spare. One thing I have got a problem with, a couple of these pieces, I don't know if you can see this, I've got a bit of damage, and that is forklift damage. I don't know if that's at the processor or at my supplier. I suppose I could send it back, but to be honest, I don't want to do that. Yeah, so I've actually got enough spare to either make one more, or I think I can probably hide that in the actual build. That'll be fine. Okay, so exciting stuff. We can start building the tabletop or the bench top now. That's the next step. Okay, so if you want to see the next episode, which would be me gluing up the bench top, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell, and I'll also link to the video playlist here. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon.